just waiting just a second. Guys, I'm just waiting for YouTube as usual. We always record this straight away, as I always say this as well. It's just make it my life much easier if I'm recording straight away into YouTube. I'm just that, yeah, I can see myself and I can see Amanda. So hello everyone, here's Junior and that's Amanda. I was just talking to Amanda. We have been doing this YouTube course and they suggest to do an intro. So we're going to do a little intro for our Alchemy chat. We've been doing it for a while now. It's been episode 32. It's episode 32 today. And we didn't know why, we didn't know the name for this channel to begin with. We just start doing what we always done, which was like having good chats about all sorts of things, especially thoughts and emotions. That's what we, really connected with. And of course, with spirituality and so on. So the alchemy chat from, my interpretation so far, or the intro that we could put so far is how to alchemize or, to transform your thoughts and emotions. And we've been doing it live with you guys. And I hope you guys can, take a good, something good from it as well. And I hope you guys can connect with it as well. So welcome to our episode number 32. And we had a little chat as always before we jump in live with you guys. And I'm going to share a little bit of what happened yesterday. And I feel it's a cool story, like from my side. And then, of course, Amanda can jump in with her genius, with her flow as always. And what else did I want to say? I think before, the theme that we're looking for is like how to get back to harmony and balance, even when, things takes you off balance, let's say. And yesterday was one of those days. Like I had the chat with Amanda in the morning, and we do this pretty much almost every day during the week, which is awesome. And then I'm not even letting Amanda to say hi in that. Please say hi before I go in. Everyone.
No, I love it. No, please carry on.
My energy is a bit high, and I had a coffee today, which I usually felt good too as well. So
it's great. I love living it.
good. I think it's one of those days that you wake up with higher energy, and I think this is connected to to balance and harmony as well. There will be days where you wake up and like today in the morning, for example, I woke up and I felt like hugging and snuggling with Gabor, and then Charlie jumps in the bed as well, and we're like having a good moment, just before we jump in here as well. And there are days where you're like, oh, I just so wish to be in the bed, what I mean, stay there and so on.
Yeah.
But and it's just like how to harmonize all of that. But I will share the story from yesterday and then we jump in. So yesterday, I started with, with a Monday in the morning. Then I uploaded the YouTube, the video that we do. And then I think I went to the gym, and I knew that I had a whole training day for about 8 hours online about YouTube ads and how to distribute the YouTube to reach more people and so on, which is exciting for me. So some people might be like boring.
I'm in awe that you
so then I created that. So I was getting ready for the YouTube. So I went to the gym, and I knew they would start at 1 o'clock for me. And then I was like, no, I got back home and I was like already got my drink and got my water ready for the 8 hours training. I logged into the training. I was like, what's happening? It's been like, I think I got something wrong. Then I checked the email. It was meant to start an hour earlier. So I was like got in the middle of like the training. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. And then my head was freaking out. It was like, okay, now I lost the beginning. So what's the point? I'm wasting the rest of the 7 hours of the program, and I'm not understanding anything. The head goes and freak out. And then I was like, wait a moment. Like there's the other part of you as well. And this is what we talk about, that we're not just one part, we're not just one emotion and so on. And then I was like, wait a moment. You've done this for Facebook ads and stuff. So there's some similarities. Just relax, chill out. Do you see what I mean? Just be, because that part of me was like, no, I'm just going to give up. I'm not going to, watch this anymore. And I was like, wait, what's the solutions that we can get here? And then, oh, the event is going to be recorded. In a couple of days, it will come up. And if you want to, take the second part of the training today and you want to relax a bit because it's more advanced, you can, relax and do the other stuff that you want to do. But yeah, just watch this first part and see. And then as I relaxed and I get more into harmony and balance, then, things to become easier. It starts to become, oh, I know that from the other platform that I use as well. I can connect this and this. And then it's a very hands-on program as well. So it's like I logged into my account, I create the stuff, and then I managed to do like quite a few steps that they were already doing, for an hour or something. I managed to catch up in a few minutes and so on. Then I was like, awesome. And then I was like, okay, I don't know how to do this. And then the guy was explaining how to do that exactly, how to put this here and there. And then things just started to flow again. And then I ended up having an awesome, day. Then we had, I think on the second part, I decided, look, I'm not going to do this now. I'm going to do it on the recording. So I spent some time with Gabor, and then we managed to do all the uploads and all the stuff that we need to do for the other project that we're doing. And yeah, and ended up changing, just getting back into balance and harmony. So yeah, that was my day yesterday.
I'm going to say I love that. I know it's our catchphrase now, but I was so captivated, really, seeing you sharing. Like we say, the alchemy chat is we're not sitting here saying we have all this knowledge and this is what you should be doing, but we're not applying any of it. This alchemy chat, we really wanted to be so authentic, and we do have knowledge of what to do, but it's in the applying of it, and it's okay, isn't it? We're not saying that, what came up for you yesterday, the beauty, the genius was that you had that moment of all this stuff came up, because that's being human, isn't it? All the, oh God, I'm not going to get this, and that's pointless now, and give up. But you went, no, I'm not giving in to that, because that's not going to help me at all. So I'm not going to blame those thoughts. I'm not going to blame myself for having this reaction. And within 10 minutes, gosh, you were able to, right, okay, why am I doing this? There's lots of reasons I'm doing this course. I came in an hour late. It's a genuine mistake. I've done this before. I'm actually really good at this. I've got other things pretty quickly. I'm going to take my time. And then on a neurological level, what happens is, because you just calm down again, opens up your frontal cortex, which means you're able to start thinking and receiving ideas and new thoughts and new knowledge. And then for me as well, there's always that, going even deeper for me, when you're then able to just tap into that deeper you. And sometimes, what you did yesterday, I know you were doing all that, and you do it so now intuitively, but I could see that there was a real deepening then when you came out of this and went really quite deep into do you know what? And also, nothing's worth feeling so bad and stressed. Is this course worth me feeling like this? And then you're just able to just be kind to yourself and say, it's okay, it's all right, everything's going to be all right. Or the words that particular part of us might need to hear. And then, and for you, it was quite a quick turnaround, wasn't it? And then you're integrating the new thoughts, the new training. Sometimes it can take a bit longer, we know that, depending on the thought. And I love this because it is about knowing that we can have, there's a choice in this, and there is a responsibility, because, no one could blame you if you said, hey, do you know what? I threw it on the floor, I'd had enough. But there was a part of you that you've done so much integration, embodying of this. There's a part of you, a deeper part of you that spoke up through it and went, no, hang on a minute. It's so almost like a parent came in, didn't it, and said, it's okay, just take a breath, put it aside for a second, let's just have a little minute. Why are you wanting to do this? It's okay, you've done really well in lots of these areas before. it's almost like you self-parented yourself out, you sort of self-partnered yourself out to this sort of higher you, deeper you. Your heart came in, didn't it? And sort of said, hey, come on, sweetheart, I know you're feeling a little bit upset, but I think we can sort this out. And that's the beauty. I was so captivated when we first came online, and or even before we went live, and you were sharing with me. And it's that, isn't it? It's that being human and being able to say, hang on a minute, I think there's a deeper part of me that's also experienced this situation. There's the conditioned, fearful thoughts of, and it's fear that came up, wasn't it? Whatever the fearful thoughts were, I'm going to fail this, I can't do this. It was very negative. But then you were able to quite quickly, and you were integrating the new thoughts, and then wow, your mind opened and you were flying with all these different ideas, and you put the energy in. It's a long time, a 7-8 hour course, isn't it? But as you say, your energy is really high this morning because you were really loving it. It's something you're passionate about. And we were sort of saying, as humans, we are meant to be in harmony with different emotions, and we're meant to have joy and passion and excitement and fun. And then we're not meant to be in that all the time. We have times where we're perhaps a little bit still, a little bit quieter, a little bit in retrospection, and all these different emotions are there to be felt and to be had, and there's a guidance. Um and I know for me, when I was driving home yesterday from where I was, there was a real feeling of the different people I was talking to. It was a kind of a work situation. And something I noticed was that quite quickly, with people who could be really quite anxious about something, if we just brought into, your focus is really on this specific thing, and I'm not taking away how important that is to you, we're not. But what if we can look at other aspects of yourself and who you are? And one person said, gosh, I'm really surprised how quickly I feel lighter, I feel easier, I feel even a little bit excited again, you know, of, yeah, God, there is actually some really good things in my life, and there's lots of really good things about me, and actually there's a part of me that I really like who I am. But there's this one area I got so super focused on, it became everything, and then it became out of balance and distorted. And for me as well, there's always that going deeper, deeper, deeper thing where we do connect with, you know,
I,
with ourselves.
I love what you brought it up again. We get to create a merchant or something. I love it. You know what I mean? That is going to be a t-shirt, a mug or something. You know, it will be there. But
Yeah.
it definitely, and I mean, it's not a coincidence. I was watching it came up on my timeline, I think, on when I was just scrolling to Instagram, and there's one of the girls that I follow. It's a Brazilian girl that she helps people with debt and so on. And she was doing an exercise because we was talking about the focus and how much we can get lost on that. Do you see what I mean? With our mind is a beautiful machine that can, focus really well on specific things. So if we give ourselves, for example, how do I don't know, how do I solve this problem? It will kind of, work out to solve the problem and so on. How do I get to that place? And it will find solutions and maps and people to talk to find the things as well. But she was doing an exercise with this person next to her, which was very interesting. She asked like, okay, can you look at your hand, then just like look at your hand and then details of your hand, and then the person and carry on talking to me, but just looking at your hand, and then let's try this with you, Amanda. Let's go there. Like, okay,
Okay.
let's look at your hand there,
Uh-huh.
and look at the nails, the details. You know what I mean? The pretty parts, the parts that you're not too happy that you can change, but the hair, the lines and everything else, and then how many fingers do you have?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you, how many fingers do you have?
Five. Five.
And then, do you really have 5 fingers?
I suppose it's 4 fingers and a thumb.
Yeah, but can you see now? Because we're focusing so much on one hand, how many fingers do you have? You actually have,
Oh,
10
yeah,
fingers,
gosh,
7
yeah.
toes. Do you see what I mean? We
Yeah,
forget everything else
clever.
that is around us in that sense because we're so focused on that one thing, and
Yeah.
we're looking at that problem or issue oh my God. And then her example was like, oh, I have this debt and how I'm going to solve it out. And, how it, and anxiety start to build up and I don't know what to do. And everything in your life, you forget about everything else. And I only have 5 fingers. I only have the debt. Do you see what I mean in there? And
Yeah.
I only have that problem.
Yeah.
So, and then she was like, it's how, can we zoom out? Okay, how many fingers do I have? Actually, I have 10 fingers, 10 toes. So GC,
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
it's like it's bringing that, okay, can I step out? Is what we always talk, can I get back to myself? It's kind of that zoom out from
Yeah.
a thought, from a emotion, from one problem, from one issue, and then like, oh, I'm much bigger
Yeah.
than just this hand. Do you see what I mean? Or this problem and so on. I think it was, yeah, it's like a cool moment in there.
I really like that because I think
Yeah.
the thing we love talking about is the different levels of where you can see something, and sometimes some process can be quite quick. I really like that because it is the thing of, bless us, our minds are amazing, but they're not meant to function on their own. We're meant to bring in this deeper, vast space within that can access new ideas, new understandings, solutions. They work together. And I love that when we step back and create some space around something again, and we are that space, we can kind of hold this all-consuming, I only have 4 fingers. And suddenly you've got the 4 fingers. We're not saying they've gone, but there's this space that's all around now, these 4 fingers. And then, as you say, you can tune into all this space. So actually, I'm this amazing space that can hold these 4 fingers.
Yeah.
I'm so much more, and I can see there's so much more. And for me, I'll be honest, I always bring in the sort of deeply spiritual side of it. Always brings me back to that feeling of, yeah, there's a vast part within me. There's a vast God I'm connected to. I'm not on my own with this. I can ask for help. So I had a situation yesterday that I asked for help. I was working with somebody, and I was sort of, my brain, my training was sort of, was a bit stumped. And I just said, hey, can you help me, please? Because I want to really help this person, and there's nothing really coming up. So it might be that they just want me to sit with them, or it might be that there's some words they need to hear. And because I just sat, I came out and just was listening to them speak, and I was very present. And then slowly some words started coming up. And then, yeah, it was very much about this person's life is out of balance. And it's how funny that you looked at the 4 fingers thing, which just absolute genius. And then, yeah, she was like, God, I feel really okay again, you know? And she felt excited about doing the things that she was passionate about and good at. And I think at one point, even career options as well of, yeah, I'm going to start looking at jobs to do with this. And yeah, and sometimes,
Yeah, it's exactly like, and I love that you brought this biggest perspective of even just ourselves in that sense. We can go from like the 5 fingers to, oh, I'm bigger than that. I have this whole body, but then we can go to the spiritual. We're not alone. And I used that analogy before when I was watching Blue Planet from David Attenborough. Yeah, David Attenborough, I would say, yeah. Again?
I love him. I had a handwritten letter from him a couple of years
I,
ago, and I adore it.
yeah, you see, so like, and he's what, in his 90s now, and so on, and his voice is just amazing. I mean, if you watch any of those documentaries, and when you see the connection between all these species and how the planet works, and I was watching that in the evening as well, and I saw, the blue Earth, and like, and it really felt like a system, an organism. Do you see what I mean? Where there's cells and pieces of it, and all the species, all the things that are working together as one big, organism. And I was like, yeah, definitely, we are like, if you look at that bigger picture, we are one. And if we do something, we know what's happening. Do you see? In terms of like, if we unbalance something, then the whole earth starts kind of getting a bit sick and so on. And if we want to sort that out, we work, together. It's almost like, the analogy that comes to me is like the blood, the blood cells, which, takes one thing's there and everything else. You can clear the toxins, but you can also contaminate the rest of the body, and depends on how you work with all of those things. So we can use it for the micro level of like, okay, how our body works and everything else, but for a bigger level of like how we're working with Earth. And if you want to go even bigger, how Earth is part of the solar system and then the galaxy and, the galaxies around it and so on. You can see all of this kind of working together. And funny enough or not, I mean, it's not coincidence again, yesterday, I love TED Talks. And then there was one TED Talk that came up to me. It was like the Pope talking about TED in the TED Talk. And it was actually the Pope Francis. And I think it's because I was like, I researched a little bit about the Pope in the last few days, because I think is in 600 years is the only time that we have two popes alive, because the other one kind of, there was nothing like that in 600 years. And they are having some, like, one suggesting something to the others, because as the church is kind of evolving a little bit, one thinks one thing in the other. So it's interesting to see that. And then, not that I'm Catholic or, anything, but it's just, somehow it was in the news and I watched it. And then that TED Talk was like, that's quite modern, you know what I mean? One pope to be on a TED Talk. And the TED Talk was actually, I was just looking for it after. It's like, why the future, I was like just bringing that back. The title of the TED Talk was like, why the only future worth building includes everyone. And I feel it's such a cool thing. And then, and I was watching like more than half, I think, of the episode as well. And it's not, he's not talking about religion or anything else. It's like how we can, support each other, how, it's about helping everyone in the planet. Because again, if we destroy the planet, or if we make it, we can't live here anymore. Do you see what I mean? And if we destroy the people, around us, it kind of, we contaminate us as well. So if we can bring light, we can help, by changing. And it always starts from within ourselves. And it's like what we were talking, the last episode, the episode before. Yes, we can talk about that we are the average of the 5 people around us, but we're also the one who is averaging the 5 people around the other people around us. So if we change, our light, if we change our way of looking at things, if we can manage our emotions, if we can alchemize our thoughts, we are able to teach other people to do the same. Like just the example that I gave about the hand, it was someone that decided to put a video. It came up, I looked at it, and now, we got transformed by it. And then other people will get transformed by looking at things, by transforming the way that we look at things in that way. So
no, I love that. It's captivating, isn't it? And it's captivating saying that, when we can come out of this small self, and we realize we're so much more, and we realize we're part of something really big. And I know for me, every morning and night, I always do a huge grounding exercise. And part of my exercise is I tune into Mother Earth. So I will see that beautiful blue planet, and she comes into my heart, and we breathe into each other. And and I'll say, I'm just going to bring my light today, and however that light's needed, sometimes you don't know, but by being that light and being that presence. And we're not saying there's a pressure to always be that. We're human, so it's okay. In fact, I'll quickly share this. I'm sure my daughter won't mind. She's very she naturally takes after her dad. She's very grounded, she's very bright, but she's quite a happy, sunshiny little person. And last night, bless her, she said, you know what, Mum, it's weird, just sometimes I'm naturally like that, but yesterday there's a lot going on, and we had to talk about balance and harmony again. But she said, I realized yesterday there was a part of me that I'm so used to being the happy one. And yesterday I just felt a little bit overwhelmed, and she got a lot going on. So we had to bring it back into balance when we were addressing that and bringing lots of the good stuff in. And I said, hey, honey, it's okay. It's okay for you not to be that shiny bright one today. those feelings of feeling a little bit vulnerable are about you bringing your life back into harmony. So those feeling a little bit off, we're trying to say to you, your life at the minute is quite focused on this, and it kind of has to be for a short time, but it's really important within those moments to keep bringing it back and seeing the bigger picture. And I remember someone sharing with me, well, the heart never rests. Well, it does. You know, in between asystole and dystole, the heart stops. Heart is not constantly beating. There are resting points in between each beat. And we had a little chat, and today we made some plans with some other things, and should I feel loads better? And I said, don't be afraid of, you know, being honest with how you're feeling. And it's okay for you to say, do you know what, I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed today. You know, don't feel you've always got to be that grounding, shining light. If you're not feeling that at some point, it's okay to say, yeah, I don't know, I think I need a bit of time to just be with myself or do some things. I think I feel a bit out of kilter, because by you sharing that and then people seeing what you've done to bring yourself back into balance, that's really helping people, rather than I've got to pretend I'm this bright shining light all the time, because that's a huge pressure. And that's not what being human is. That those emotions are feeling a little bit off, we're telling you need to bring a bit of balance back in. And she does that naturally, and it wasn't a huge thing, but it was a really interesting conversation we had last night that kind of fits in with what you experienced yesterday and me at work. And then today, so I said, you know, don't be afraid, sweetheart. You know, and I just sat and held him and a cuddle, and we talked. And she said, oh, she's quite nice just to sit here and not feel I've got to be. And she'd never had that feeling before, because she's naturally been quite, you know, a sort of person. And I felt relief that we'd had that conversation. So I'm really glad you could share that. I'm really glad you could talk about it, that you didn't have to protect me, you know, that you could say, hey mom, I've got this feeling, and let's process this thing together then. And if it doesn't go away, that's fine. I can still sit with you and hold you. And I could feel today her energy felt a lot lighter. You know, the little light in her eyes again. She was excited about stuff, which she's always excited about anyway. But just that balance had come back.
I feel like yeah, I really want like people to get to grasp of the. I'm sure you know loads of you that will be watching this. You already experience you know those changes of emotions and so on. But if even if you haven't felt that and it feels a bit alien, how you know how do you allow this or how do you change this and so on? It's again, it's practice. Do you see what I mean? Like I'm under, you know, how long have you been allowing yourself to feel the things, to be able to actually, you know what, I'm allowing you now, my daughter, you know what I mean? It's okay because, you know, I've been there so many times. I don't have to be always happy, be always, you know, fun and everything. And I was, when I started this call today, you know, so whole hype and, you know, caffeine and everything.
Yeah.
But that's not every day. Do you see what I mean? And it's like some days I like that, some days I like, you know, I'd rather be in bed, and, you know,
Yeah.
and so on. So it's like it's just allowing those flows of emotions, and we talk about this quite a few times in the, you know, the alchemy chat, which is about allowing what's happening right now in like with you, around you,
Yeah.
and then you can do what I've done yesterday, which is like, oh, yeah, there's a part of me is freaking out here. Do you see what I mean? It will give up on everything. And it's like, it's not even, you know, fighting with it. It's like, yeah, yeah, thank you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's have a chat here. Let's have a, you know, a dialogue between, you know, that part that is freaking out and the other part, which is like, okay, I can get it. I can do this. Do you see what I mean? Okay, how can we work together? How can we make that happen? And it, as we were saying yesterday, was easier, and then I can do like the same 5-10 minutes now, but
Yeah.
it was not always like that. And I'm on the nose, you know, how long, you know, we've been, you know, working together, that having sessions that were like, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours long. Do you see what I mean? To shift an emotion or to shift, you know, a thought, or and then not forcing the shift, is allowing the thought to do its natural course of, you know, evolving and transforming. Take from, you know, the one hand to actually, oh, I have more than five fingers. I have, more. And there is more than just me. There is more than just, this problem, this situation right now. And I think this is why I'm passionate about the Alchemy chat, because we still living this stuff as it comes. You see what I mean? Yesterday was a situation and it changed. And sometimes, yes, I will be able to optimize within, 5-10 minutes, but sometimes it will take a day or a month, you know what I mean? And there is some emotions that underline, and I
Yeah.
shared this, I think, before as well. Like for in the last 2 years, for example, there was an underlining anxiety or, underlying, some depressive thoughts and so on, that you are like alchemizing it as it goes along. And at the same time, I would say, we're going to have, ups and downs during the day. There are some emotions and thoughts that are kind of underneath that you have to allow them to alchemize in its own time, I would say. It's almost like, you have the days and nights in that sense, which you're like, today is clear and my head is very clear. No, it's very dark. I'm overwhelmed and so on. And then the next day is clear, or that you have like 2-3 days of clarity, 2 days of, of night and so on. But then you have the seasons behind it as well. Oh, there are a few, there's a season where for a few months you're feeling this kind of feeling underlying, even though you have experiencing joy or experiencing sadness, whichever it is that you're experiencing, there is an underlying feeling behind it, an underlying feeling of like clarity, or underlying feeling of overwhelm, or underlying feeling of, depressive thoughts, or underlying feeling of anxiety, and all of that can kind of, solve itself. And then that season starts to transition into something else, and then it goes and comes back again.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, Gina, because we're saying, aren't we, that we can have real core beliefs, and those core beliefs can be an identity that
Yeah.
we take on. That is those four fingers. Basically, this is my identity, and I know it can manifest in all sorts of different ways. But if we have a core belief within our mind, a belief that says, "I'm not enough," "I'm not worthy," "I'm not safe in this world," "I'm not enough," "I'm not lovable or not likable," "I get things wrong," "I'm a mistake," whatever that core belief is, yeah, it will influence what's happening in our lives. And when we can, and we know, don't, that when we can just go deeper and deeper, no matter how it's surfacely manifesting, maybe failed relationships, I'm attracting people that don't treat me very well. And then we can go deeper. And what's this feeling? How do I feel when I'm with this person? Well, maybe I feel ashamed that I allowed that behavior. Okay, let's hold that shame. Why did I hold that shame? Maybe I wasn't taught I was loved as a child. Well, maybe we can hold that child and say, "I'm so sorry you were taught that. That's not right. But the truth is, let's go a little bit deeper. Wow, you are so loved. You are so precious. You are so valuable." And then you go a little bit deeper again, and you just feel that space and that wholeness of who you are. But that's a process, isn't it? Some core beliefs don't get changed like that. And the thing I admire and respect is when, and that's you and I have stayed good friends for a long time, is that we get back on the horse, we do the daily thing. And it's not about taking responsibility and judging somebody, because sometimes something can be so overwhelming that those four fingers are actually what's holding that person together. So if you took those four fingers away, there's nothing, they've not got that deeper connection, that awareness. So, there has to be respect and humility about this, but it's that, just like you beautifully said, brushing our teeth. And sometimes we need somebody, whether it's a good friend, a relative, that's someone that loves us, and we can sit with them and say, "I've got this thing going on. Can I just be with you and process?" Yeah, of course you can. And it is that daily practice, isn't it? And sometimes we need maybe a professional to come in to say, "Got this core belief, and I think I'm realizing it's time to look at this. I want to go deeper with it, and and I'm scared because I think it's going to hurt." But every time I've done that with people, there's a huge thing. They've always said, "God, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be." Once I went into it and could hold the emotions, I didn't stay stuck in it. I went through it, And I came out somewhere that was, I got the four fingers, but this time there's this beautiful space around. And I realized I'm so much more than that one core belief. I genuinely thought that's who I was. And I remember one person, I'm really careful here because I really don't want to in any way identify them, but they had a gambling problem. They came to me with this gambling problem, and I said, well, I'm not, you'll see, it's not really my area. But quite quickly, I was starting to sense there was a huge trauma as a child that they didn't want to go to. And during that session, I remember going to get them some water. I came back and they said, can I tell you something? And all this stuff came out. It was a huge repetitive abuse as a child. And we talked about it, we accessed the feelings, and quite quickly, they were able to see that child was innocent. They weren't to blame. It wasn't their fault. They'd done nothing wrong. They're beautiful. The shame started to lift. They weren't doing the gambling because they were desperately trying to hide from the feelings. And very quickly they went from, it was a huge amount of debt. They were somebody who was able to have a £5 a week flutter. And as far as I know, I'm still kind of in touch with them, and it's not gone back. They can have about £2 to £5 a week flutter. They really enjoy it. They, the thing they do, they get a lot of, the horses and, they enjoy it, but it's not gone back to the thousands of pounds that he was getting indebted into. And he said afterwards, and he told people in his life that he hadn't told before, shared it, and they were so supportive and loving.
Yeah, I feel like I want to just to kind of wrap it up for the people as well, and in terms of like how you can use this, and like when we talk about the brushing our teeth, and when we talk about going deeper into seeing into emotions like these, and find out maybe there's something. I mean, don't wait this to be a magical thing. Yes, it was. Do you see? It was powerful for this gentleman, but we can also, it's easy for our mind, like, oh, when I find that thing that is behind my mind, then my life will change and I'm not going to have that problem. You might be losing your power by actually putting your expectation that there is a thought or there is a belief in there as well. And I've been there myself, where, oh, because I had this transformation when I discovered that I had this thought behind my head, and then they had a boom in my life, and lots of things start to work out. Then if something start to not work out, and then they'll like, okay, it has to be another thought that will create this boom in my life again. Do you see? There's an expectation of that. Yeah. So what I'm bringing up here is just like, yes, there are stuff that we can go in and clear it out, but yeah, it's easy like for our mind, for the ego to go easily like, oh, I can't live a life unless I go deep into the problems and so on. So
that's an important part, because I think the reason I shared it originally, because this person was so scared to go into the feelings, and when he did, he sort of said, gosh, that was not as bad as I really thought it was going to be. And then it was a journey, lots of journeying. It wasn't an instant clearing. But yeah, and we were saying, aren't we, that the mind will sometimes want to say, well, fix that, and okay, and we're not saying there's something wrong with us. It's when we can come back every day. It's the everyday thing of, wow, I've had that huge awakening almost, or that huge realization, but actually it's in the daily application of that. It's in the daily, wow, I'm just going to keep, because you have to practice. It's the muscle memory, it's the resilience, it's the choosing it, it's the, I remember working with somebody once, and it's really weird you brought this up. This thing happened, and they came back to me about a week later and said, I don't feel great again. Can you do that again? And I said, oh, what's your daily practice been like since the, and they went, well, I've not done anything. And I said, okay, that's normal because you've not been used to, but we had to really, and there was a huge resistance around, I don't want a daily practice. I want to have something that clears this all from me, and then ta-da, I'm a new penny every day. And I was just saying, gosh, yeah, that's quite a painful expectation or idea, because there's not many people, they'll have a want to wait like Eckhart Tolle and boom, you know. And I know he practices it every day as well, but it is that, wow, yeah, I had that huge shift, and that's taught me there's more to me, and every day I'm going to practice this and choose this now. And yeah, and there can be resistance around that. So that's a really good point I think you brought up.
Yeah, no, it's a good point, but like this is what I just want to leave, as we're coming to an end of the episode as well. But it's like that, yes, we can alchemize things, but don't expect that you're not going to have winters anymore, that you're not going to have, springs, that you're not going to have autumns. And you want those cycles to happen in your life, because then, how good it is after, a long winter, for example, to feel like to see the spring coming up, do you see? And you can't feel the spring coming up without the winter. And I'm not saying that you have to create winters. There are more severe winters, there are more milder winters. Do you see what I mean in that sense? So yeah, it's just understanding that I really want to keep this in balance, that there is this, flow of life where, yes, we're going to have, emotions that will come up. There will be, anger, frustration, grief when we lose a loved one, and so on. But there will be moments of joy, excitement, and yeah, being happy, and so on. So there will be those moments as well. And it's how we can, be open to what is happening to us right now, to actually dive in, feel it, and transform. And then there are things that we can transform in like 5 minutes, and there are things that will take probably, months or days, or how sometimes years, you see. There are things that we can do, which is just, brush our teeth every morning, for example, on our own. And there are moments that we need to go to a dentist. You know what? This is painful, and it's been there for months now. Do you see? And even though if I brush that, it's still painful. There's something inside. Can you help me to look into it? Do you see? And that's where we can, reach out to a friend that we trust, a family member, or, a professional therapist, or someone that can actually, can you help me to see here? Because I can't see inside of my teeth now. Do you see what I mean? Can you help me out to open up? Can you be there with me? And so on. And there are those people around us as well.
And it's beautiful, isn't it? Because that takes us, the more we do that, we do kind of settle into this place of kind of wholeness,
Yeah.
grounded and resilient and space. And it means when we're rooted and grounded in that place, the outside world kind of doesn't drag us off. We're able to, as you shared yesterday, you've done so much work, you're able to, yeah, I was able to bring that to that whole grounded place, secure place fairly quickly. But it is that journey, isn't it, of getting there.
And the brushing your teeth that we keep coming back, in terms of your mind, is it's literally just like, how can I zoom out? Do you see what I mean? Or how can I zoom in to myself? Or do you take that space? There are a few tools that you can use. Sometimes you can use a meditation. Sometimes you can just, do an open eye meditation like we've done at the beginning of the episodes. Sometimes it's just like I've done it, having a little chat with myself during the process, and so on. Sometimes it's taking you for a little walk, to see, being in nature. So there are different things that will work for different people. So find your daily brushing your teeth in your mind, having that mental hygiene, and test it out. Do you see what I mean? Play with it, and you're going to see how it works for you as well. Guys, I don't want to... Yeah.
Different things work in different times, don't they, as well? So we all have lots of different practices that work at different times, and that's where the more you get into this, the more you'll just trust yourself of what works for you and what feels right. So
awesome. So we're going to end this because I get to go in a second, and I'm going to get to go for this. I'm going to let you guys as well enjoy the rest of your day.
yeah.
At the usual stuff for YouTube, and like when we're creating this as well. So if you like this episode, let us know, put that thumbs up. If you didn't like it, put the thumbs down, it's fine as well. If you haven't subscribed yet and you like this kind of chats and seeing, the way that we see things, and potentially helping you to see things as well, then remember to subscribe. If there is anything that you agree or disagree that you want to comment below as well, there's like, Junior, I really like that, or Amanda, I really like that, or you know what, I don't agree with you. It's I can see things in a different way as well. So yeah, use the comments to comment to us as well. So thank you guys again for being with us. Thank you for watching this up until the end if you're here as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you. Bye.
Lots of love. Bye bye for now.